You know how it feels. You have done everything society told you to do. You got the education, found the job, and you try your best to live reasonably. But at the end of every month, there is this quiet, heavy sensation that the needle is barely moving. You check your bank balance, expecting progress, only to realize the math simply does not match the effort you put in. You are moving forward, but the things you want to reach keep receding into the distance. It feels like climbing a down escalator, exhausting yet entirely stagnant. You have likely internalized this struggle. You probably think you're bad with money, or that you just need to hustle a little bit harder to finally break through. But the invisible weight you are dragging is not your fault. It is a mathematical truth baked into the economic system itself, moving quietly against you. Imagine you're 22 years old. You land your first serious job making $50,000 a year. You live carefully, splitting an apartment where rent consumes a full third of your take-home pay. By 25, you negotiate your salary up to $60,000. This is exactly what the traditional path promises, but look at what happens quietly in the background over those 3 years. Your monthly rent climbs from $1,200 to $1,600. Your basic utilities slowly tick upward. Your typical grocery bill swells by over 20%. At 28, you finally secure $75,000 a year. On a spreadsheet, this is unquestionable career success, but observe the hidden trap. After higher taxes on that income, sustained living costs spikes, and the increased cost of simple insurance and transportation, your disposable savings are barely more than when you started. In your most energetic years, you exchanged your life for money that constantly weakened. Your income climbed by 50%, but the asset goalposts, like buying a simple house, moved totally out of reach. It is a mathematically impossible sprint.
What you are observing in this scenario is not merely an accident of timing. It is a systemic decay of purchasing power. The mechanism is uncomfortably simple. A constant influx of new currency reduces the rarity of the money you have already worked hard to accumulate. Your time was traded at yesterday's lower value, but today you are forced to spend those older, weaker dollars at today's inflated prices. When standard bank accounts offer returns below this decay rate, the act of traditionally saving money transitions from a virtue to a slow leak. Each additional percentage point of inflation requires disproportionately higher returns to overcome. It operates as a silent engine of wealth destruction.
Compounding this external mechanism is the way our own brains work against us. Psychologists call it numerical anchoring. Our neurology is wired to anchor to the specific numbers we grew up seeing, completely failing to internalize abstract compounding math. When you look at an $8 cup of coffee, a distinct part of your brain remembers a time when it was only 3. The pain of the disparity registers as psychological distress, leading you to hyperfixate on the absolute dollar amounts rather than the underlying devaluation of your entire asset class. As a result, younger people tend to panic over small daily purchases, while remaining totally paralyzed or deeply risk-averse when it comes to massive financial decisions. Your neurology essentially tricks you into agonizing over saving tiny fractions on basic survival expenses, while avoiding investments that can hold their value. When we examine modern economic history, particularly the shift that occurred after the 1970s, a disturbing reality surfaces. This was the exact period when broad wage growth abruptly uncoupled from productivity. For 50 years, corporate efficiency and technological output soared straight up into the sky, while the real buying power of the median individual simply flatlined. As a young adult trying to establish yourself today, you are the one absorbing 50 years of deferred, compounding systemic consequences. The outcome is absolute. You can no longer just earn your way into true financial security by strictly trading hours for a flat paycheck. When monetary policy continually targets modest inflation by design, keeping all of your potential confined to simple cash checking accounts ensures that decades of grueling human labor gradually turn to ash. So I want you to take a slow, deep breath. Take this heavy, unspoken weight off your own shoulders. You are not a failure because it is taking so long. And no, the answer is not that you simply failed to clip enough coupons or worked too few late-night hours. You are a perfectly capable person attempting to use a map drawn for a different terrain. Once you grasp this quietly violent mechanism of systemic dilution, your goal inherently evolves. It is no longer about clinging tightly to diminishing paper bills. True foundational wealth happens by strategically holding rare assets that rise dynamically on their own as dollars continually pour into the monetary supply. It will take adjustment and learning, but by opening your eyes, you shift away from absorbing the punishment in silent ignorance. The illusions drop away. For the very first time, you truly see the system for what it is.